Okay. Hey, I'm making another video. Oh, this time, I'm gonna show y'all some more nostalgia from the 80s and 90s. So let's dig into what everyone goes nuts for, nostalgia. So, as for 80s and 90s, there was a lot of craze around back then. Definitely a whole lot of crazy shows. Family Matters, one of my personal favorites. Oh, Saved by the Bell. That one just never gets old. 70s Show. Full House. Oh, classic. Rugrats for all those Nickelodeon fans. There's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Friends. Pac-Man, and that was very famous back in that era. Michael Jackson. Home Alone, that was made in 1990. Super Mario Bros. 3. Back to the Future. There's Kenan and Kel. All those fun days from school in gym class. They always had the closet full of all the stuff that those elementary school kids went crazy for. Or the hula hoops, the scooters. What about TV shows? I did mention a few TV shows from back then, and yeah, the Golden Girls. Four of my all-time favorite women and ever. The Wonder Years. Cheers. A bar where everybody knows your name. There was anyone who loved a show where you could laugh all day long. You had America's Funniest Home Videos that started back in 1990 with everyone's favorite handsome boy Bob Saget as the host. This was the show that invented Try Not to Laugh. They went through so many hosts, but I think everyone will agree Bob Saget was the star host of the show. I've seen a few. I've seen plenty of episodes with him as the host. But I'm most familiar with seeing Tom Bergeron as the host. He did a good job, but no one can replace Saget. All right.
80s
How
and
about food from
90s.
the 80s and 90s? That was such an era for a lot of crazy foods. The Planters cheese balls. Pizzerias, the chips that are supposed to taste like pizza. Squeak Eez-Its. All the Orbits drinks. Here's some 80s snacks that still exist today. How about oh oh how about restaurants? Were there any nostalgic restaurants? Like there was plenty of diners back then. Oh yeah, the Max from Saved by the Bell. That was an iconic 90s place. And how many people can and remember Pizza Hut being a sit down place? That was a real iconic moment. And having a sit down Pizza Hut. And how in the freaking world can anyone forget how nostalgic McDonald's looked back then? And it looked like every kid's dream. Looking like a good time was approaching, and you were begging to go into that place. Why don't we see some more pictures of what McDonald's looked like back then? Definitely had a different look to it. And clearly there's a difference. Back then it looked like an amazing experience with that place all ready to go. Now it's like the less appealing fast food place, but the food stays good. Even the menu looked different back then. What about toy is
90s
Yeah, action figure era. The moon shoes. I know I mentioned this in the last time I did a nostalgia video. Movies. What did they have for movies back then? I had Ghostbusters, The Karate Kid, E.T. That's a classic. The Sandlot. There was Hook, Beethoven. Home Alone. How could anyone forget that? Let's see, what did music look like back then? The, that was like an era for or like female band and it's like female punk bands. That was a time and when bands like the Bangles were playing. How could anyone resist seeing Susanna Hoffson, that Rickenbacker he jams on every day? Good point for Guns N' Roses. I feel like the Bangles were huge back then. That's what they looked like in the 80s. They looked like young college women. Vicky, Debbie, Michael, and Susanna. Oh yeah, Tears for Fears. They played back then. Yeah, like this was like the time of like punk and like haired metal. Because that's what I think was famous back in the 80s and 90s. I think that's all I have to show you. I hope you enjoy this, and please give this a thumbs up. And peace out.